What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brad, joined by my co-host, Carrie.
What's up?
You know what? You brought this to my attention. There's a lot of Activision Blizzard news this week. Suppose we'll take it in chronological order. So let's get right into it. One of my favorite things is when like CEOs do something that seems like a really meaningful gesture, when in reality it's just an ass-saving move because they don't want the board to fire them.
Yeah.
I remember Iwata did this back in the day, like during the Wii U doldrums. He like took half his salary basically because of the lack of success that Nintendo was happening. Well, Bobby Kotick has published a letter to all of his employees in Blizzard last week that said that new changes are coming to the beleaguered game publisher, including a new zero tolerance harassment policy, which is good. A big one, waiving arbitration for sexual harassment and discrimination claims. That's actually a major point there. But the kind of the most cynical thing is something that he did, I'm pretty sure, just for the board of trustees, essentially, where he has decided until this plague affecting Activision Blizzard has been resolved, he is cutting his overall compensation, his salary, down to $62,500 a year, which is the minimum amount that he can be contractually paid, according to the parameters of the position, to, quote, ensure that every available resource is being used in the service of becoming the industry leader in workplace excellence. First of all, major C. Montgomery Burns correlation going on there. The first annual C. Montgomery Burns Award for achievement in the field of excellence. That's all I'm hearing with that. Case you're wondering, Bobby Kotick took half his base pay last year. So his base pay last year was $1.75 million.
Yeah.
He already had halved that this year, I guess because of COVID. I don't know why, to $875K. However, he was awarded $150 million in stock options.
Yeah.
Previously to that.
So his planned total compensation for the year, it's $154.6 million.
Yeah, just him.
He'll be fine. He's gonna be just fine.
I think he'll be okay. I think this is basically like, you know, like in Japan, you know how like when you work for the Yakuza and you fuck up, like you have to like go before like the leader of like your boss and like cut off your finger to show humility and apology.
Yeah.
This would be like cutting a single hair from the top of your head to show how humble you are if you're Bobby Kotick, essentially. I'm glad that they are getting rid of forced arbitration, which is a major plague that lots of companies use to get around things like class action suits being brought against them, things of that nature. But then someone else, I don't remember who it was on Twitter. I don't know if it was an employee. I think it might have been an employee of Activision Blizzard. In the wake of this news, was like, well, if you're willing to go this far, I suppose you wouldn't doth protest if the employees decided to form a union, right? Like you'd be supportive of that. Since you're willing to do anything necessary to make Activision just the most excellent company on earth to work, you should be supportive of employees unionizing then, huh? Like that seems like a great idea. Yeah.
Kotick also said that 5 new changes are being implemented, those being a new zero tolerance harassment policy company-wide, something they apparently didn't have in place before.
they had minimal tolerance harassment.
they had like a smidge of tolerance.
As long as you were in a leadership position, it was fine to harass people. Yeah.
They will increase the percentage of women and non-binary people in our workforce by 50% and will invest $250 million to accelerate opportunities for diverse talent. Cool. Based on feedback from employees, we are waiving required arbitration of sexual harassment and discrimination claims. Great. All companies should have this. Like, forced arbitration is fucked up. Stop doing it. Increase visibility on pay equity, and will provide regular progress updates. So cool.
But
Thanks,
that's not
Bobby.
the only Activision Blizzard news.
Oh, it's hardly the only Activision news, because they had a shareholder call today. So there's still some news coming out of that we might not even get to, depending on how late it breaks. So first off, Blizzard co-leader Jen O'Neill told staff today that she is stepping down, leaving Mike Ibarra as the sole head of the company. This was a very short run for her, given that they took over Blizzard leadership in August following the departure of J. Allen Brack, who left in the wake of the initial lawsuit. In an email to staff, O'Neill says that she is leaving to, quote, dive deeper into the admirable causes of Women in Games International, which is a nonprofit devoted to equality and diversity in gaming, and that Activision Blizzard will be giving a $1 million grant to the organization. A whole $1 million from Activision. Wow. And the news means that in the wake of a widespread reckoning over, now this is Jason Schreier editorializing here, but he's right. The news means that in the wake of a widespread reckoning over how its culture mistreated women, Blizzard has gone from having male and female co-leaders to, again, having one single male boss.
Which to be fair to Mike Ibarra, from what news is there around him, like, he's seems like a good dude who is focused on doing the right thing. Like, Mike Ibarra, to our knowledge, has not been caught up in any of this.
No, Mike Ibarra, yeah. I don't mean to shade him at all, but it is unfortunate that, you know, we're back to where we started with just one dude in charge. Hopefully Blizzard does some leadership shuffling in the wake of O'Neill choosing to leave, so that we can have more female representation at the top.
I feel like that's not a good indictment on how things are going, even like with the clean out so far. If like this person who got promoted into this incredibly high ranking position, and I would imagine had a lot of sway,
sure,
to be able to
less
deliver.
Than 3 months later, she's just like,
right, yeah, had a lot of sway to be able to deliver change at one of the biggest, most important companies or developers in the industry, was just like, deuces. Like, if I'm actually going to advance the position of women in gaming, then I need to go to this nonprofit instead of hanging out here at Blizzard.
Yeah. So we'll see sort of what happens because of that. And also due apparently directly in part to the various leadership shuffles that have happened at Blizzard over the last several months, both Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 have now been delayed into 2023. So for the dozens of people who are still sold on Blizzard as a company, you're going to be waiting around for any new content from them. Schreier also reported that Ibarra said that both of these were delayed largely due to the changes in leadership. Overwatch 2's executive producer left by choice. Diablo 4's director was seemingly ousted after the misconduct lawsuit happened. So yeah, in both of these cases, well, really more in Overwatch 2, I always thought Overwatch 2 was like really prematurely announced by Blizzard, because they announced it when people were pissed off at them due to how they handled like all the Hong Kong stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they did what Activision has always tended to do, which is whenever something bad happens, they're like, "Ooh, you see this? He's shiny new thing. Oh, do you forgive us? Do you want to give us money for the shiny new thing that you're all excited about now?" So yeah, Overwatch 2 2023. I'll be surprised if too terribly many people are all that excited about it by the time it comes out.
I mean, I think there'll be people that are excited about it, but it's just like there are certain times where losing high-ranking people on your team is not that big of a deal. Like if a game's in its last kind of leg, losing a director, losing an EP, like it's not a huge problem. But with these games still like very much in the midst of development to the point that neither of them are even in an alpha state right now, like that's going to change. It's going to change the parameters. I think both of these games, especially in the kind of the new age that we're in, with how a lot of companies are withholding announcements until they truly have something to show. I think both were announced very prematurely. And it's funny too, so like I'm still very much following the development of Diablo 4, and like I make sure to read like the quarterly updates when they release them, because they've been pretty good about putting those out. And the game appeared like Diablo 4 appears further along than it probably actually is, and I think that's just because when they do present stuff, they put their best foot forward. Like they make sure they're only showing off stuff that looks really polished, because they don't want people to have a negative impression of the game. Most companies don't do that. Most companies don't really just show anything except for pre-rendered footage or things of that nature until we get at least to like an alpha position or maybe even beta position. But yeah, Blizzard, a company that moves slowly anyway, even more so in the wake of massive scandal and turnover and upheaval and culture change, and their parent company also dealing with it, and this, that, or the other thing. Meanwhile, Vicarious Visions basically is not like is just going to get folded into Blizzard essentially.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's good for them. Like I don't think it's a bad thing for them, and it's more talent being folded into the Blizzard team gives it a little bit more flexibility. So that was another bit of Blizzard news that came out that was a little more under the radar compared to these other things. So
yeah.
But yeah, quite a week. They kept it kind of quiet for a little while, so we just got a fire hose.
They kept it kind of quiet, and then they had a shareholder meeting. And...
gotta love it when shareholder meetings are the prime source of spilling the tea, as the kids say in this day and age in the video game industry. It's just kind of wild to me. Yeah. So also no BlizzCon next year. They're gonna rethink what BlizzCon is supposed to be as an event before they bring it back. Really, again, don't celebrate when there's still this cloud stigma hanging over the company's head. So a lot of bullshit going on. Speaking of bullshit, Skyward Sword HD.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, so I picked up Skyward Sword HD because a few weeks ago there was a sale on some big first-party Nintendo titles. So I picked
that was already on sale.
It was on sale for like a weekend for like $40. It was that and
on through the eShop though?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was through like Target or Amazon or something.
See, I thought you were gonna tell me like Nintendo discount. I'm like, if Nintendo
Nintendo didn't discount it.
That means that
retailers discounted.
No one's buying it. So.
Yeah. I picked it up because it had been on my periphery for a minute, and at $20 off, I figured why not? Last week I traveled down to Tennessee for a few days, so I figured I'm going to buy this to play on the plane, and that's what I did. So it's not like I've gotten particularly far. But yeah, so I've played it only in handheld mode. Game looks good.
Is it fun to play though? Because the way that they describe the controls, it
takes a minute to get used to. It is a little weird at first, but like once I sort of figured it out with the sword slashing mechanic, actually using the right thumbstick to control the direction of the sword. Once that sort of clicked, I was like, cool, okay, like it plays just fine. So I'm hoping I can actually finish the game, because I never finished Skyward Sword when it first came out 10 years ago. I got like halfway through, and basically I got pissed off at the control scheme, so I never finished it. So I don't think Skyward Sword HD is going to be something I spend a ton of time with right now, simply because Shin Megami Tensei 5 comes out in like another week, and Endwalker comes out for Final Fantasy 14 this month. So I've got plenty of other stuff going on. But yeah, I mean, plays just fine. I wouldn't have been mad if I had paid 60 for it. But yeah, Skyward Sword. It's Skyward Sword, except now it's less janky to play.
I've been playing much. But mostly the shit that I've been playing is just stuff, nothing new. Back on Slay the Spire because that game hooks me in. I've been playing Super Mega Baseball again because I have the itch with the World Series going on. Racing my race cars around the racetrack. All that.
And speaking of the World Series, what a villainous postseason.
Oh, it's the absolute worst. It's the absolute worst. There, no matter who wins, we all lose.
There literally wasn't really a single team that I really would have rooted for. Like maybe the Brewers, I would have been kind of chill with.
But instead, we got cheaters versus racists.
It. And I have to root for the racists to win because I don't want to see Houston win.
I wouldn't think you'd want to see either because the Braves are a division rival.
They are, but like between the two of them, I would rather see Atlanta.
I am happy that Atlanta being in the World Series has raised the profile of the problematic nature of the chop as it's been
super fucking racist.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So like I enjoy the fact that a brighter light has been shown to that. I have not enjoyed the predictable way that has now been added into the newest, liberal versus conservative political divide. And now the conservatives will embrace the chop fully. As something that they think is not racist, despite the fact that there's probably not a single indigenous person among them supporting that. So kind of wild. I also did not realize that. So I read a story in Slate today. I did not realize that the chop is only 30 years old in terms of the Braves using it. Like I thought that had been around much longer.
In the 90s.
No idea. It's literally been around the entire time that I've been watching baseball. I didn't realize that it was like a brand new thing when I started watching baseball. So I thought it had been there forever, but not so much. Apparently, no baseball fans less racist back in the day. Not really, but less racist towards indigenous people back in the day.
I mean, look, if the Cleveland Indians can get their shit together and get rid of Chief Wahoo and like rename the team, much as that has now, of course, come into its own swath of problems since there's like a roller derby team suing them for the rights.
Can't you give the roller derby team like just here's $5 million? Like just go away.
Right, here's $5 million. Shut up. Yeah,
like you're Major League Baseball.
If Cleveland can get their shit together, surely Atlanta can get their shit together, but apparently not. The whole postseason, I had no rooting interest whatsoever. I guess I would have sort of liked to see Tampa do a little better. I would like to see Tampa win.
I'm so out on MLB right now, just because I cannot think of a sport that has worked harder to alienate their fan base more than Major League Baseball. And that's saying something because the NFL exists. The NFL tries really hard to make people not enjoy watching the NFL. Major League Baseball is like, yes, but with older, stodgy people that are going to make all the decisions that have that aren't keyed in with today's culture at all. Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
My team won the World Series, and then COVID happened, so like that sucked. We had a shortened season last year and they were okay. And then they blew up the team at the trade deadline this year. So now it's like, cool. We got Juan Soto. He's really good at baseball. That Juan Soto kid. He seems like he knows what he's doing. Outside of that,
I'll never forget the exact moment in time. Sorry to bore everyone with baseball talk, but we went off. We're off on a tangent. I'll never forget the time that I knew that baseball is going to be in trouble. There was like an interview, it was probably like 10 years ago on MLB Network, where Brian Kenny, who's like a newer school guy, was conducting an interview with Hawk Harrelson, who is a broadcaster for the Chicago White Sox and an old man. And his colleague was Harold Reynolds, who, despite not being an old man, feels like an old man and is one of the worst baseball analysts on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
And Hawk Harrelson went on a tangent about analytics in baseball. Baseball, of course, being the first sport with like advanced statistics,
sabermetrics.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like basically like he was like yelling at Brian Kenny for Brian Kenny trying to explain how some of these advanced stats work. And Hawk Harrison's like, I've got an advanced stat for you, Brian Kenny. It's called TWTW. Do you know what that stands for? The will to win. That's what I want my players. Is I went, and Harrow's like, yeah, Hawk Harrelson, like, you tell him. I'm just like, holy shit. These are the people that are at the levers of power in this sport. Yeah. And it's not changing anytime soon.
No.
So that's all bad news all the way around. Look, I'll be right back there when the Orioles get good again. If the Orioles get good again,
who knows when that will be?
Yeah.
Look, if I could suffer through the 2008-2009 Washington Nationals, I can deal with anything. I had to deal with Elijah Dukes and Lastings Millage being like the heart of our lineup. Whatever bullshit the next few years have in store, I can deal with it. Yeah. It also helps that I have a ring. So
yeah, that too.
That's a nice balm. But anyway, here's something that I've spent more time paying attention to over the last few months compared to baseball. Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah,
and
I'll say.
I do.
How many hours are you in deep right now? I can
tell you exactly 270 hours.
That's, you know what? Honestly, it seems low. Like I forget how long you've been playing, but that seems like a light amount of hours.
I've been playing since June.
Yeah, I feel like you could have done more.
I probably could have done more. I
feel like you could have played more.
Just wanted to note that I have finished the Shadowbringers storyline, so I am ready for Endwalker. I know that I am now wholly invested in the storyline of Final Fantasy 14 because I cried like a little baby at the end of the main Shadowbringers storyline. I was not expecting to have that much of an emotion, and then Emmett Selk happens, and now I have an emotion about these characters in Final Fantasy 14. So I'm ready for Endwalker. We're just a few short weeks away from that, and I'm ready to play that.
I wonder if Blizzard could piss off their fans enough to get Final Fantasy above World of Warcraft ever at some point. I feel like there's a lofty ambition, but I feel like it's possible if Blizzard continues along the trajectory that they're currently going right now.
Okay.
That's like has Final Fantasy even released subscriber numbers recently?
So I'm trying to see. So as estimated, World of Warcraft is estimated to have like 116 million total players.
Right, but that's
like
those
daily
aren't
active
accounts.
Players are that's like 1 to 2 million.
Okay.
I think Final Fantasy total subscriber count is about 27 million, but has more like 3 million active players right now.
27 million subscribe or 27 million unique accounts?
Subscriber count.
That seems insane. That seems insanely wrong. There's no way they have 27 million people paying $15 a month to pay Final Fantasy 14.
This is just what Google is telling me.
That has to be lifetime accounts.
It's probably lifetime accounts,
including free to play accounts.
Probably. Well. Okay. But yeah, about 2.5, 3 million daily players. So there are more people currently.
Right, but you can play Final Fantasy for free. You can't play.
You can. Correct.
Yeah. So, but I'd be curious to know paid subscribers. I don't even know if Blizzard would release that information right now, given what's going on.
Yeah.
So with releases this week, this is a week where once again, I am not keyed in to the video game mainstream at all, because there's a new Call of Duty coming out this week, like literally Friday.
Yeah.
I had no clue. Like I was aware there was a new new Call of Duty game coming.
I was only aware of it because Jack White debuted his new song through a commercial for Call of Duty Vanguard, which seems incorrect to me. Jack White has always seemed a bit of a Luddite.
Mm-hmm.
Now I am probably the biggest simp for Jack White that anyone listening will ever encounter in any sort of way in their life. I have a large Jack White inspired tattoo on my forearm, and I was perplexed when it was like new Jack White song, and I was like, cool, and like it was a trailer for Call of Duty.
I'm not sure why you're perplexed. I'm sure they just threw him a giant bag of money.
Here's the thing. Some people were like, oh, well, what if his label made him do it? And I'm like, he is the label.
Yeah, like they probably threw him many monies, and they're like,
they probably gave him a large, like a cartoonishly large sack.
Yeah, can we have songs
dimes.
for Call of Duty game? And he was like, yes, absolutely. I like monies.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems out of character.
Does it slap, as the kids are prone to saying? The song?
Fine. It doesn't. I thought it got better on subsequent listenings. My initial impressions were that it was a very middle of the road, very standard Jack White rock tune. There's actually like an acoustic version, like a bluegrassy version of the song that they released, which I like much better.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm surprised the bluegrass version didn't make it into Call of Duty. That would seem like a natural fit. I don't even know what this Call of Duty is about, honestly. I think if I recall correctly, I think it's back to World War II, but they are telling like stories through the eyes of like multiple different characters that were like in the cities.
World War II.
Yeah.
It's
called Vanguard.
The game establishes a storyline featuring the birth of the special forces to face an emerging threat at the end of the war during various theaters of World War II across the globe. Also, what's the
emerging threat at the end of World War II? The emerging threat is that America has a fucking devastating
weapon. We have a nuclear bomb. That's the threat.
The call's coming from inside the house. So that's funny. So that's coming out. If you're into Call of Duty, there's a new Call of Duty game coming out, which apparently they're like anticipating down sales because Warzone is very popular. So it's starting to cannibalize itself, which I find a little amusing. As far as other games, it is what they deserve. A few other things coming out this week. First Class Trouble comes to PC and PlayStation. There's a new Fortnite thing coming wherever Fortnite is. Tunch comes out on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC.
I'm sure one of those was correct.
Unpacking comes to Xbox, Switch, and PC. World War Z comes to the Nintendo Switch. Bloodshore comes to all systems, including mobile. Just Dance 2022 comes to everything, notably not the Nintendo Wii. The Binding of Isaac Repentance comes to next-gen Xbox consoles. Where the Cards Fall comes to Switch and PC. I have to check that out. There's cards in the title. It probably has to be good. The new Animal Crossing New Horizons DLC is coming out as well. And Let's Build a Zoo comes to the PC.
Quick note on Animal Crossing. So the free expansion, the free stuff, that all comes out. The Happy Home Paradise DLC, which is paid DLC, comes out. Notably, Nintendo has said this is it as far as DLC. Some people were speculating that this might be the first of a few different paid DLCs. Nintendo came out and was just like, this is it. So hope you're ready to flatten out your island and rearrange everything, folks.
It's kind of wild to me that they're not throwing more support behind Animal Crossing, because like I feel like they can make a shitload of money if they treated this almost like a live service game, but not like a live service game.
Yeah.
But hey.
It's fine. I'll go back to it. I haven't looked at my island since February. So I have a lot of cleaning up to do. I bet the weeds are out of control. So yeah, if you want to talk about oh wait, I forgot. We have PlayStation Plus games.
Oh yeah, shit. You're right. I usually read them first, and I totally
PlayStation Plus games
in reverse order here. So
if you have PlayStation Plus, you are going to be getting Knockout City.
It's a great month.
It's a really good month.
Yeah.
On PS4 and PS5, you get Knockout City, which is the dodgeball game.
I've heard it's actually quite good.
I've heard it's very fun.
Yeah.
I will be downloading this. Yeah, if you want to play dodgeball online, Knockout City is free on PS5 and PS4. If you want to solve a murder mystery, First Class Trouble will be available on PS4 and PS5. That actually seems like the kind of game I would be into. And then Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning is available on PS4 for PlayStation Plus users.
Here's the thing. None of you have any excuse anymore.
No.
To not play one of the finest hidden gems of the last two console generations ago.
Yeah, of 10 years ago. Yeah, Kingdoms of Amalur is it's a good game, and it's a locally developed game if you're one of our Maryland friends. And presumably Kurt Schilling won't get any of your money, especially not if you're playing it for free.
Assuredly, so, if anything, it'll go to the state of Rhode Island and our friends at THQ Nordic. Actually, I think it all goes to THQ because I'm pretty sure they paid Rhode Island to get the license to be able to republish the game. So
yeah, no excuses. Download Kingdoms of Amalur. Also, if you happen to have PSVR, you'll be getting The Persistence, The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, and Until You Fall, all for free this month for the 8 of you who have a PSVR out there.
On not to be outdone, on the Xbox this month, you get 4 games that deliver a total cost of $79.96 in value and 3,200 gamer score, which is the most important thing to know. Moving Out is available on newer Xboxes for the entire month of November. Then for the second half of the month, you get Deadlands, which is a game that I don't know anything about. Apparently it is, it's called Kingdom Two Crowns. Why does it say Deadlands at the top?
I don't know.
That's so weird. The image doesn't match the game. Kingdom Two Crowns is like, it looks like it's a city building game that has like medieval elements to it. And then the 360 games are Rocket Knight and Lego Batman 2, a game that was bundled in for free with, I have to imagine, like 80% of Xbox 360 consoles.
Yeah. So
I feel like
congratulations
they've given that away
for
free before.
Yeah,
it all runs together.
Look, every month Sony does what they can to give us some cool shit, and every month Microsoft reaches in to the bargain bin at Walmart and sees what they come up with.
Once a year you get maybe twice a year you get like a banger month from Games with Gold. Typically it's just bullshit.
Not these days. It's normally
they're like look, we're giving you guys all of our games for free on day one, or not for free, but we're giving you guys all of our stuff for this subscription
Game
service.
Pass.
So don't expect anything more than that. Like, come on. So
honestly, there you go. If you want to talk about the new games that you're playing, you can do that by joining us on Discord, and you can join the official Dense Pixels Discord by going to densepixels.com/fans, and that'll take you right there. Don't forget to also, you can see our beautiful pale faces this week that don't look quite as pale without Micah here, at youtube.com/densepixels. You can subscribe for our content there. Sometimes we post game clips, but not usually. We mostly just post the shows. And don't forget to subscribe to all of the TNP Studios podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. So that also includes the Nerdpocalypse, Black on Black Cinema, Coming Distractions, and weekly preview episode of Look Forward. And if you want to be an extremely talented, attractive, hilarious, delightful human being, you can subscribe to TNP Premium. So you can go to densepixels.com/premium, and that's $5 a month, or save yourself some 10 bucks, spend that on a burrito bowl somewhere and just pay $50, get the whole year. And that gives you all of our premium podcasts, including The Airing of Grievances, No Time to Bleed, The Men with the Golden Tongues, full episodes of the Look Forward Political Podcast, and Upstage Conversation, my musicals podcast, which Jay and I will be recording a new episode of later this week. And I can't wait because we're doing the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which he fucking hates.
And not only that, Look Forward now available on video on YouTube, which you can check out, including if you're a premium member, you get the full episode of video. And Dense Pixels listeners, you got a double dose of The Men with the Golden Tongues last week because we finally posted our review of Metal Gear Solid 2, which is getting rave feedback from the community, and Mike and I's spoiler review of the latest James Bond film, No Time to Die. So if you look in the premium feed, you can find all that goodness. And again, it's just $5 a month or $50 for the entire year. You know what you're not gonna be able to pay for going forward? Somewhat surprisingly, Wizards Unite, the Harry Potter augmented reality game published by Pokemon Go maker Niantic, because they have announced that they are shutting it down as of January 31st, 2022. The game's been around since June of last year.
June of 2019, which I know feels like last year, but was 2 years ago.
Oh, that you're right. It was 2 years ago. Unfortunately for Niantic, two things came into the world that probably hampered them a little bit. One was a global pandemic, and the other was the creator of Harry Potter exposing herself as a men's transphobe. So I played a little bit of Wizards Unite, like right when it came out. It helped that I was like it helped that I was like at a convention like the weekend that it dropped. So there were a lot of people playing it, and it just didn't provide the same sort of experience to me that Pokemon Go did. So I very quickly uninstalled it. But it was apparently way more narrative focused and like actually told a bit of a story involving Harry and Hermione. And I think that's the thing, is that with games like this, like with Pokemon Go, when you play Pokemon Go, you're literally doing the thing they do in Pokemon. Like it translates very nicely into the type of game they're making. Wizards Unite does not do that. Now, Niantic also just released a Pikmin game that's called Pikmin Bloom that's out there. They're working on a Transformers game which has AR elements as well. So I don't know how that's going to work exactly. I guess Transformers could work because like there's cars that exist in the world around you that could transform into robots in disguise. So we'll see what happens there. I past when this game launched, I don't remember hearing anyone really talking about it. So I'm not too surprised. I am a little surprised that something Harry Potter related that wasn't a shitty licensed game couldn't find an audience. And I'm pretty sure that we might see the same thing befall the new Hogwarts game that's coming out.
Oh yeah. I don't think that Hogwarts game is going to do particularly well, because I think a lot of people are kind of done with Harry Potter at this point, myself included. I grew up reading the books. The first book came out when I was in elementary school, and the last book came out, I guess, when I was in high school. So it was very much like an adolescent joy for me to read these books as they were coming out. And I really liked them when they came out. And like, as I got a little older, even before all this stuff with J.K. Rowling came out, I remember being like, there's some like racist shit going on in these books, huh? You got one Asian girl and her name is Cho Chang.
Just like it's I guess because the story was so compelling, like people just kind of gloss past the lazy tropes that she relied on and kind of winked at and nodded to.
And then like everything with J.K. Rowling came out, and she's just an awful person, and that sucks.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm not about to like burn all my copies of Harry Potter or anything, but I'm content to put them in a box in my basement and let them live there until I die at this point, you know. I'm not interested in consuming any new Harry Potter media. I haven't seen any of these Fantastic Beasts films, which for all impressions seem to indicate that they are okay.
Mhm.
And the only thing Harry Potter I've done within the last 5 years is I've been to a Universal theme park and I have purchased butterbeer. And yes, it was delicious. But I think that's going to be the extent of my interaction with this franchise at this point. So if you are a fan of Wizards Unite, at least you will be provided with an ending to this storyline that you have been playing for the last couple of years. I think it's nice that Niantic is doing that. They also instituted a number of gameplay changes, including increased rewards for daily assignments, decreased potion brew times, removing the daily cap on sending and opening gifts, increased experience for certain potions and stuff like that. So yeah, they're basically allowing, like, they're not turning on God mode, but they're making the game easier to play for the next couple of months until the story ends and the game shuts down in January. So it's the right way to end a game.
Yeah. The few things they have had to end, they have not just, cut and run on, so which is a good thing. Like it's a pretty good company, or a pretty good developer, I should say. Niantic, I don't know anything about how they are as a company.
No, but they always seem to be trying to do right by their fans, which is good.
Yes. Bad news when it comes to Nintendo. They originally had anticipated being able to produce 30 million Nintendo Switch units by the end of fiscal year 2021, which is actually at the end of March of next year. But due to chip shortages, they will only be able to hit 24 million, which is a 20% miss on their forecast. They said because of high demand of the console and component shortages that their target will not be able to be hit. They are also a little sad about that because, of course, the new OLED model just released and they would have liked to get that into more hands if possible. However, as of June of this year, I should say, Nintendo was up to 89 million Nintendo Switch units sold lifetime, which is a fucking insane number. It's going to exceed the Wii next year.
Yeah,
which is I honest to God, I never thought I'd see a Nintendo console
outsell the
blow
Wii.
past the Wii's, and it will do it comfortably. Like it will do it without even blinking an eye, right. which is wild to me.
Yeah. While this sucks for anyone who's going to be trying to buy a Switch, particularly in the lead up to the holidays, once again this year, I appreciate the fact that Nintendo is being forthcoming about how many they are able to produce, how quickly, and why that is. So if you don't already have a Switch, good luck getting one between now and the holidays. Yeah, otherwise, this doesn't come as a surprise. Chip shortages are impacting numerous types of tech industry,
like Apple's even apparently slashing iPad production just to make sure that iPhone production doesn't lag behind because of chip shortages. So like that's every company's dealing with it right now. We're probably going to see the same thing with PlayStation, Xbox. Apparently Sony is going to be air freighting PlayStation's places to just get them in people's hands as fast as possible, just so they can sell as many as they can. So these companies are losing a shitload of money, which they can afford it, but it sucks for consumers still too. Finally, perhaps one of the best headlines that you'll ever see in the news. Bowser forced to pay Nintendo a $4.5 million fine and spent up to 10 years in prison. Nintendo has finally gotten Bowser.
Nintendo has defeated Bowser. Yes,
they have
and
defeated Bowser. Not Bowser, and not Doug Bowser.
not Doug Bowser. We like Doug Bowser.
Not President of Nintendo of America, Doug Bowser. No, this is 51-year-old Gary Bowser of Canada, who is a hacker, who basically has been Nintendo's most wanted for many years, because he used to be on a hacking team called Team Executor, which was a company that designed and sold mod chips to let you play pirated games on Nintendo consoles. They had been going after him for quite a long time. He finally has pled guilty to multiple charges levied against him. Again, he must pay $4.5 million fine. No word on if that's Canadian or American. Hopefully, for his sake, Canadian. And could also spend up to 10 years in prison.
Yeah,
Nintendo does not fuck around for those that
no, they really don't. Yeah, so his guilty plea agreement includes the acknowledgement that he developed, manufactured, marketed, and sold a variety of circumvention devices that allowed their customers to play pirated versions of copyrighted video games. So basically, these people developed ways for you to hack your system, or chips that you could put in your system to allow you to play ROMs on your Nintendo system, circumventing the need to purchase video games, which is illegal. I'm not here to talk about what's moral and what's not, but it is certainly illegal. Things escalated last October when the United States government issued federal charges against...
so it is 4.5 million US.
Yeah,
that's like 20 million Canadian.
Yeah. the exchange rate to those maple bucks is not good right now, but
it's a lot of loonies and toonies that he's gonna have to dig into his pockets and find.
It's a lot of tidbits he's gonna have to come up
Gary
with.
Bowser's shitty dumb brother.
Well, here's the thing. Bowser was arrested and deported to the United States after being found in the Dominican Republic.
If you're gonna flee, like, go to a non-extradition country. Like, Switzerland's right there.
So the other team executor members being Max Loarn, a 48-year-old French national, and Yuanning Chen from China. Loarn was arrested in Canada, and the United States is currently seeking his extradition, and Chen is still at large. Like, imagine what kind of life did you have to live to where you have to flee the country to avoid being arrested for having made pirated video games?
It's big business. A lot of money, especially Nintendo. Nintendo does not fuck around. They're like, we won't even discount our first party games. You think we're gonna let hackers run amok on us? Like, get the fuck out of here. Like Doug Bowser would have flown down to the DR himself to get Gary Bowser. Like, you're giving us Bowser's a bad name.
Bowser versus Bowser.
Fucking idiot.
So if you want to legitimately purchase your Nintendo video game cartridges, you can do so by going to densepixels.com/Amazon. Look, we really want to send that man back to space, and the only way we can do it is if you continue to give Amazon your money. The only way we're going to get rid of him is by stranding him in space, and you have to keep giving him your money. But if you're going to continue to give Amazon your money, you can do so in a way that also benefits us, because they skim just like 3% of that fat off the top, and they give it to us, and we say thank you for the pocket change. So you go to densepixels.com/Amazon. You shop as normal. It's your typical mediocre Amazon shopping experience. And then you check out and you feel a little bad because no one really wants to support Amazon anymore. But we live in a capitalistic society and we don't really have much of a choice. But if you're going to continue to suffer under capitalism, do it at densepixels.com/Amazon and help us out.
That would be awesome. You know what else is awesome? When you submit your questions in the Dense Pixels post office, which you can do at densepixels.com/fans on Discord, where we turn to Daniel, who says, what are some silly things that you've done in a video game that you're glad nobody saw? Now, Daniel gives the example of playing Mass Effect and exploring the Parthian bunker, getting all the way to the end where the river run starts and realizing that you left your Mako, your car, at the very beginning. This speaks to me because I am notorious for, in open world games, forgetting that fast travel is a thing that exists for the first few hours of the game. I'll never forget making the long trek across the wastes in Fallout 3 when I first started playing it, not realizing that I could just pull up my Pip-Boy and with 2 button presses be teleported to the destination that I plan on going. Instead, I walked for 20 minutes trying to get to where I needed to. And I said, holy shit, this game feels slow. No, it's not. I'm just an idiot. So I do that all the time. I guess credit to them for immersing me in the world so much that I'm just like, I have to walk. But yeah, I forget fast travel exists more often than I care to admit in video games.
I don't know. Like I sometimes also forget fast travel exists. I've also been like playing Skyrim and just like absentmindedly run off the side of a cliff, killed myself from fall damage, fallen into a hole because I stopped looking where I'm going necessarily. I've killed a lot of horses in Skyrim by running them off the side of cliffs. Sorry to all of my horses. Rest in power.
He also adds a question for you. He started JoJo. He's 3 episodes in. Can't tell if the dialogue is purposefully ridiculous or if it's a stylistic choice or a bad dub.
So it's interesting because I've watched all of JoJo that's available to watch, but I watched it subbed. And recently, got real intoxicated one evening and I decided I want to watch JoJo dubbed. So I've also watched like the first handful of episodes of the first season of JoJo dubbed. It is a ridiculous dub, but let me assure you that all of the dialogue is purposefully that way. It's not a bad dub. The JoJo dub is by all means wonderful, actually, and very much stays true to the heart of what JoJo's is. But yeah, JoJo's is ridiculous. So if you're going to be watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, understand that that's what you're signing up for.
Yeah. Johnny asks, thoughts on keeping money matches in the FGC? Beef has always settled on a first 10 with big money, sometimes it's the $10,000, where the audience is a glorified Savage Lands, lots of hype, fun stuff. However, esports trying to get rid of it for being glorified gambling and making for a very toxic environment. The picture he posts has 2 gentlemen squaring up, mean mugging each other face to face in what I presume would be a big money match. I have to tell you, the shorter white gentleman in this picture looks like someone that I would not want to fuck with, because that dude looks like a potential serial killer in this image with the facial expression that he's making. I unfortunately think that it depends on what the FGC wants. If they want to be a legitimate competition organization, then you have to get rid of that shit. Yeah, because that's like that's like NBA players. That'd be like an NBA player fucking going out and playing street ball for money. Like it's completely stupid. Because you make millions of dollars, and obviously not, fighting game players don't make millions of dollars a year. But if you want to be taken seriously, that's the kind of shit you kind of have to get out of your industry. Otherwise it's going to always feel like small potatoes. And like you said, it is a toxic environment. The audience and the fans watching these matches don't do anything to add to diffusing of tempers, I'm pretty sure. And you also run the risk of having a situation where someone bites off a little more than they can chew, and you have an incident that happens as a result of this kind of stuff. So I don't feel like it's a good idea to keep it in your industry, considering how the fighting industry is moving forward. But yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are around this. I'd be curious to know what Micah thinks, but like I said, I don't think it's a good thing.
No, I don't really have anything else to add. I think you nailed it. I don't think it does nothing to create the kind of inclusive environment that so many esports leagues claim that they want to have. So
very true. Cam, speaking of non-inclusive environments, Cam asks, if you two were hired, I'm kidding, I love Cam, even though he gets so much shit on this network. If you two were hired as consultants for a new James Bond game, how would you go about it? Base it off an existing movie or book? And what kind of game would you like it to be? I think that going original story for a James Bond video game is generally the best way to go. There haven't been too many good Bond video games that have been based off of Bond movies, GoldenEye, notwithstanding. But what kind of game would you like to be? I don't know. See, the problem with James Bond, like I would be curious actually to see someone do a Bond game, and this is why I'm very excited for IO Interactive's upcoming Bond game, is that I'm doing a Bond game that's a legitimate like stealth game. Is very intriguing to me because we've yet to see it. The closest we've come is a third person cover shooter, which is what Quantum of Solace was, which was not a bad game, but it wasn't a great game either. It was pretty boilerplate, pretty by the numbers. So I'll be very curious to see what IO can pull out of their hat in a couple of years and see what they can do with the James Bond license. I have the feeling that their game is going to be one of the better James Bond games that exists, which is not a high bar to clear by any stretch of the imagination, but
no,
I think they're going to redefine what we think of James Bond games as being. Hopefully. I'm trying not to get too excited about this game that we've seen literally nothing for yet.
So. Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, Hitman, but make it James Bond. Like,
I think it's got to be a little more than that, but yes, essentially.
Yeah.
Like I don't want you to just put James Bond in Hitman. I don't think that works, but I think using some of the style of that game would work well. So
I don't really know what I would base it on. I would probably just ask for another remake of GoldenEye, personally.
Yeah, the first person one that Activision came out with was not it. I will tell you that. So that's for sure. Casa asks, the most recent game that caught you off guard for better or worse? Have there been any over which you changed positions multiple times? They also say that I took the wrong impression from their critique of Inscription last week. They said they went from impressed to reluctant to even more impressed, and I keep hearing really good things about Inscription, so now I'm probably going to have to go buy Inscription and play it.
I would say Paradise Killers, the most recent game that caught me off guard, for better, because I went into it not really expecting too terribly much, and I ended it with it rocketing to absolutely one of the favorite recent games that I've played over the last few years. There have been a couple of games that I like definitely sort of flip-flopped on. I mean, this is years ago, but when Sword of Mana came out for the Game Boy Advance, I remember being excited about it because I had read about it in Nintendo Power, and I picked it up and I didn't really like it at first. Then I played a little bit more of it and I liked it a little more, and then I finished the one storyline and I was like, no, it was only okay. And then I played the other storyline and I was like, okay, no, this is good. So yeah, that's probably the first thing that comes to mind for me about changing my opinion on a game as I'm actively playing it.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that I've played where I have to kind of get over the hump in a lot of ways. There's a lot of games that do that. Shovel Knight was one for me that didn't gel with me right away, but once I got into it, I really got into it. Trying to think what else. Kind of my whole immersion to the sim racing space has been a bit of a surprise as well. I wasn't expecting to get into it as much as I did. Like, I really just picked up Gran Turismo again on a lark, just to spend some time racing some race cars, because I was watching F1 and I'm just like, holy shit, this is really fun. And then again, Super Mega Baseball will want to be one of the all-time examples. Here's this just like very unassuming, very, you know, approachable arcade baseball game, and I've put in 160 hours into it over the past year and a half, basically.
Oops.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
So that one definitely caught me off guard a little bit, and I can't tell you how relieving it is for me, as being someone who used to be a sim sports gamer, kind of getting into a sports game that straddles the line between the two, not because of the approachable gameplay, which is a huge benefit, but because of the lack of pressure of needing to buy a new iteration of a game every single fucking year.
Yeah,
because they've changed some small insignificant, like, and when you're really into it, like, you can't not buy it. Like, that's the problem. Like, when you're really a fan, like, you're going to spend that $60 and you're not getting very much in return. Like, FIFA was the worst, because even though they changed the game up the most, like, when you play Ultimate Team, you're literally paying EA $50 $60 for the privilege of pressing the reset button on your Ultimate Team and starting from scratch again, which sounds like masochism, and it is in very much stated form. So having this one baseball game that, like, we're not going to see Super Mega Baseball 4 for probably at least another year or two, and then when that comes out, that'll be out for, you know, 4 or 5 years before the next one. So, like, it's cool not having to worry about buying a new game and just being able to play like multiple seasons within that game, and kind of exploring it more. We finish back to Cam, who, once he learned Carrie was gonna be on the show, basically made a similar follow-up question to the Bond question. However, he's flipping the script. Now you're making a movie, Carrie. You are making a live-action Pokemon movie that is shot in a similar vein to Detective Pikachu. What region would you set it in? Is the trainer Ash or somebody new? And would you follow a previous Pokemon storyline or try something original?
Here's what I would like to see. I wouldn't want to follow Ash. I would want to follow Giovanni. And I would want to see Giovanni as a young trainer leading into the creation of Team Rocket, and why, and what his motivations are for doing that. You want
to see the Joker version of Pokemon.
I want to see, yeah, you know, I want my villain origin story with Giovanni. I think Giovanni's always sort of been this enigma in the Pokemon world at large. Like, we know he's the leader of Team Rocket, and he has such a presence in Gen 2, even though he isn't there, Team Rocket is still trying to carry on without him and is still trying to get him to come back. So what kind of charisma did this guy really have to inspire Team Rocket to behave in the way that they do? So yeah, give me like my Pokemon mob film starring Giovanni.
Does the movie end with like a riot in like the Kanto region, and then like somewhere like Ash's parents gets murdered and he like vows revenge on
No, I think the film would probably have to end with the creation of Mewtwo.
Mm-hmm.
So yep, that's what I got.
Gary Oak gets his ice cream stolen from him, and it causes him to become a petulant asshole. Like is that the stinger?
Because like I don't know that you would want to really do like a mainline Pokemon game one-to-one adaptation, because it's like, cool, you go get 8 badges and collect them all and whatnot. Plus, like they already did a really fun adaptation of the games with, it was like Pokemon Origins, like the animated shorts that they did a few years ago. Those are really good. If you haven't watched those are really, really good. And those feature some of the best choreographed Pokemon fights I've ever seen in Pokemon animation. But yeah, if I'm doing live action, like a Pokemon related story, that's what I'm gonna go with. Give me Giovanni.
Well, I got to tell you, If you're on YouTube, you should absolutely go to youtube.com/densepixels. Subscribe to this channel, ring the bell icon so you're always notified whenever a new video posts. Go to densepixels.com/fans. Join our Discord. That way you can ask post office questions. You can talk to the Dense Pixels community, who are an awesome group of folks. Good times going on in the Dense Pixels Discord. You can subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Do you use Apple Podcasts? You can do it there. Do you use Google Podcasts? We're there too. Do you use Pocket Casts, as I do, the greatest podcast app that's ever made?
Oh.
We're there as well. Literally anywhere that you get your podcast. Spotify.
We're on Spotify? Yeah.
We're on Spotify. We're there. You can subscribe, and you should. And while you're there, subscribe to the other shows in the TNP Studios network, because they're all awesome, and you should listen to all of them, and they're a lot of fun. And while you're on the internet, as Mike is prone to saying, head on over to twitch.tv. Subscribe to a few accounts. Follow, if not subscribe. I mean, you can subscribe to Carrie if you want to, but
you can.
Yeah, but you can follow a couple channels, and you should. Carrie is It's Carrie. I am Dense Pixels Brad. Terrence is Apparition 410, and there's a Dense Pixels channel that you should follow as well, for reasons that will become clear in a future episode. So
especially make sure that you're following me, because all this month I will be sprinkling in streams for Extra Life, as I am an adult with not enough free time. So I don't really have a single weekend this month where I can be like, yeah, I'm going to stream like 12 hours all at once. No, I can't do that. I'm too busy all the time. So instead, I'm going to be doing little streams throughout the month. I'm going to play some Paradise Killer. I'm going to play some Monster Hunter. I'm going to play some Fallout. We'll see what happens. I might even play Golden Sun. Who knows? Yeah. All money raised will go directly to the Johns Hopkins Children's Center, as all of my Extra Life streams have over the years. I'm even going to have raffle prizes for every $10 US you donate, because I know I have friends in Canada who are listening to this. 10 American real money bucks that you donate, you'll be entered to win a lovely little prize, which includes the grand prize, which is the soundtrack to Link's Awakening for the Game Boy on vinyl.
It's very cool. I need to go over to your page and throw some money.
Sure do.
You. Yeah. I contribute every year, so
yes,
as you should, listening out there. What is your goal this year? How close are you?
My goal is 500, and depending on how much I raise, that might get raised. And I have 146 real money bucks so far. Cool. So please be sure to donate. I'll be pulling raffle winners on December 1st, so you have until then to donate. And in other news related to why I'm so fucking busy all the time, the Baltimore Gamer Symphony Orchestra will be doing our Made in Maryland production. And despite the fact that we are being prohibited from holding a live in-show concert, we're doing it anyway, but online. So we're going to record. It's going to premiere online December 11th. Please mark that on your calendar. 3 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be really cool. Made in Maryland. We're going to be playing the title theme from Kingdoms of Amalur. So that'll be really fun.
Very cool. Probably some Civilization stuff.
We're doing some Civ. We're doing some Fallout. We're doing some XCOM. We're doing some Elder Scrolls. We're doing some local indies, which is actually really cool because the local indie people are like, they arrange stuff specifically for us to perform. So we will be the first people to perform it, which is really cool. And head to facebook.com/Baltimore GSO for more info on that. And
it's a neat concept for a concept. So
it's gonna be a lot of fun. So
well, thanks. That is all for us tonight. Those of you out there, thank you very much as usual for watching and listening. We'll see you all the next time.
See ya.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here, and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.